Hello students. Today we will discuss about a nerve fiber. We discuss about the structure of a nerve fiber and neuron. Before we start with our today's topic, we have a quick recap of our previous lecture. In our previous lecture, we discussed about the skeletal muscle structure. We discussed that a skeletal muscle is composed of many thousands of muscle fiber, and a single muscle contains many fascicles. Here in this diagram, there is the structure called as fascicle, which is made up of group of muscle fibers surrounding with connective tissue. Each muscle fiber is a single muscle contained which is enclosed with this layer. In this diagram, you can see muscle cell enclosed with the membrane called as the sarcolemma. Here in this structure, this white structure is called as the sarcolemma. Like other cell in the body, the muscle fiber is composed of cytoplasm, which is called as sarcoplasm in the muscle cell. The sarcoplasm contain myofibrils, which are the contractile structure of a muscle fiber, and non-myofibrillary structures such as ribosomes, glycogen, and mitochondria, which are required for cell metabolism. A cell structure is enclosed with three layers. The first is epimysium, the middle one is the endomysium, and the innermost is called as the endomysium. So the objective of our today's topic is to study and to learn about the structure of a nerve fiber. Let's start with our today's topic. Nervous system. The nervous system is divided into two main subdivisions, the central nervous system and the peripheral nervous system. The central nervous system is composed of brain and spinal cord, whereas the peripheral nervous system includes with the all peripheral nerves. Nerve. A nerve is the collection of neurons that are joined together by connective tissue. Nerves are responsible for carrying information around your body. The information they carry is in the form of electrical impulse. Informations come into one end of the cell called dendrites, and then they goes out the another end called the axon, so that it can be passed to one another cell. This process happens over and over to carry the information around the body. Neuron. Neuron is the basic working unit of the brain, a specialized cell designed to transmit information to other nerve cell, muscle or gland cell. Most neurons have a cell body, an axon and dendrites. Let's discuss about the structure of neuron. The first main part of a neuron is cell body. The cell body, also called as the soma. It is a spherical part of the neuron that contains the nucleus. Here in this diagram, you can see this spherical part which is containing nucleus in it. A cell body connects to the dendrites which bring information to the neuron and the axon which send information to another neuron. When information is received from another neuron, the dendrites pass the signal to the cell body, and the cell body then may send this information to the axon depending upon the strength of the signal. The job of the cell body is to control all the functions of the cell. It contains several important organelles that help it to do this. Organelles are the tiny organs in the cell that each do a specific job. The job of the cell body is to control all the functions of the cell. Here in this diagram, the spherical structure is called as the cell body, and in it there is a nucleus and the small organelles which provides or do the specific job a cell can do in other structure also. This cell body connects with dendrites. Dendrites uh, sends the information towards the cell body, and the cell body, there is a large projection is called as the axon. The cell body send information to axon, and axon receive this information and send it to away from the cell body. So these are the structures associated with cell body, the dendrites and the axon. The other important structure of a neuron is dendrites. Dendrites are the projection of a neuron that receives signals from another neuron. Synapses are the contact point where one neuron communicates with other neuron, and the dendrites are covered with synapse formed by the end of axon from other neuron, and the transfer of information from one neuron to another is achieved by chemical signals and electrical impulse. That's why they are called as electrochemical signals. Axon. Axon is the most important part of a neuron, which serve as the pathway for nerve impulse from soma to the opposite end of the neuron. It is long thread-like part of a nerve cell along which impulses are conducted from the cell body to other cell. In axon, the electrical impulse travel away from the cell body. Let's have an understanding about neuron with this diagram. In this diagram, we can see this structure, this spherical structure is called as the cell body or the soma. In soma, we have nucleus and also cytoplasm, and which is filled with the number of organelles which perform some specific function. After this cell body, it is attached to the numbers of projection called the dendrites. These dendrites are connected with the another terminal ends of the another neuron and receives information from the outside, and then they give those information to the cell body. So the dendrites are the part which receives information from the another neuron. After these dendrites, we also have a long projection called as the axon. This axon takes the information from the cell body and give these information to the terminals of the axons. This axons having the myelin sheath protection over it. This myelin sheath is made up of Schwann cell. The myelin sheath over the axon provides insulation for faster traveling of the nerve electrical impulse. Then we have axon terminals. The axon terminals, at the end of the axon terminals, they are attached to the dendrites of other neuron. Then they form a synapse. A synapse is the junction of terminal ends and the dendrites of the two neurons. We have nodes of Renvier at the gap junction of myelin sheath. This is the way how the information or the electrical impulse travel in a nervous system. Terminal ends or the synaptic buttons. Axon terminals, also called as the synaptic buttons or the terminal buttons or end feet, are the distal termination of an axon. An axon, also called as the nerve fiber, is a long projection of a nerve cell or neuron that conduct electrical impulse called action potential away from the neuron cell body or called soma, in order to transmit those impulses to other neuron, muscle cell or glands. So terminal end is the main portion which take parts in synapse. Nodes of Renvier. Nodes of Renvier, also known as myelin sheath gaps, occurs along a myelinated axon where the axolemma is exposed to the extracellular space. Nodes of Renvier are uninsulated and highly enriched in ion channel, allowing them to participate in the exchange of ion required in generation of action potential. Nerve conduction in myelin axon are referred to as saltatory condition due to the manner in which the action potential seems to jump from one node to the next along the axon. This results the faster conduction of action potential. Here the practice question. You can able to answer after this lecture that which are the two subdivision of nervous system. You can able to draw a well-labeled diagram of neuron, and you can also discuss about the nodes of Renvier and their function. So you can practice these questions. Here are the reference for your help. You can refer these links for your further information. Thank you.